Update 2. During college break, I wanted to go to my childhood bedroom. Don't go in there, my mom said. It's just for storage now, my dad added. He looked nervous. Later that day, I went in anyway and saw this. 5 minutes later, I called 911. Years later, when I was home for a weekend, she told me they were meant for me. She didn't say it like it was a gift. She said it like it was a continuation, like she was handing over a language. I didn't tell anyone, not because it was secret, because it was sacred. But they found out, and they were pissed. I heard Dad first, late one night. It's not fair to give it all to Romy. Mom agreed, said it should be split evenly, that those kinds of things belong to the whole family. They meant Vivian. Vivian, who doesn't play. Vivian, who once asked if the oboe was the goose-sounding one. I wanted to scream, but Grandma didn't back down. She said clearly that they weren't for sale, that she wasn't dead, that she had the right to decide what happened to her things. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. Then the break-in happened. Grandma was in the hospital overnight, a small issue, they said, just a precaution. She came back the next day to find her back window smashed and the collection gone. All of it. She called me crying. I had never heard her cry before, not at funerals, not when Grandpa died, not when she lost her best friend to cancer. But this broke her. They're gone, she kept saying. I thought I'd have time to show you. I tried to calm her down. I told her maybe the insurance would help. She said, it's not about the money. I knew that, of course I knew that. She got sick again 2 days later, hospitalized again, weaker this time. The doctor said stress was making it worse. I stayed with her, took time off, sat next to her bed while she slept in half-hour stretches. It wasn't the theft, it was what it took from her, the idea that something that had lasted generations had ended under her roof. I've never hated anyone more than I hated whoever did that. And then I found out who it was, because I opened that door. I walked into the room I wasn't supposed to walk into, and there they were, the cases, the instruments, all of them lined up under a tarp, hidden in my childhood bedroom like some kind of cursed treasure. They were never stolen. They were moved. 5 minutes later, I was outside, breathing too fast, calling 911. The dispatcher said someone would be there soon. I wasn't sure what soon meant when it was past midnight on a quiet street where nothing ever happened, but I stayed outside anyway, not because I wanted to be brave or dramatic, just because I couldn't go back in. I didn't want to see the kitchen or the hallway or my parents asleep in their bed while Grandma was still hooked up to monitors because of what they did. I stood near the mailbox, my jacket only halfway zipped. I kept touching my phone like it would make time move faster. Every few minutes, I looked at the house. All the lights were still off except for the porch. It looked normal from the outside. Everything did. Which was kind of the point, wasn't it? The patrol car pulled up 28 minutes later, I counted. No lights, no sirens, just a quiet engine and the crunch of tires against the curb. 2 officers got out, one older, one younger. Neither of them looked surprised to find me standing outside in the cold, holding my phone like it was the only thing keeping me upright. You the caller? The older one asked. I nodded. They didn't ask why I was outside, just listened while I told them calmly and clearly what I'd found, the instruments, my childhood room, the break-in that wasn't. I told them about Grandma, the hospital, the insurance claim. I told them the whole story in a voice that didn't sound like mine. They asked if I wanted to stay anonymous. I shook my head. I don't care anymore. They nodded like they'd seen that before. Maybe they had. One of them stayed with me. The other walked up to the house and rang the bell. It took a minute. Then I saw lights flick on one by one. Upstairs first, then the hallway, then the front entry. My dad opened the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt. His hair was sticking up on one side. He looked confused, not panicked, not guilty, just tired and confused. My mom appeared behind him, pulling on a sweater. She looked even more confused than he did. I couldn't hear what was being said. The officer kept his voice low. I watched from the sidewalk, not hiding, just staying out of the way. It felt strange to watch them from that distance, like they were strangers in someone else's house. Eventually, both officers went inside. The door closed behind them. I stood there, arms folded, trying to stay warm. My feet were starting to ache from the cold. My hands had gone numb a while ago. I kept my eyes on the house. I didn't know what was happening inside, didn't want to guess. Part of me expected yelling, footsteps, slammed doors. But it stayed quiet, just shifting shadows behind the curtains, the occasional silhouette. Then nothing for a while. I thought about Grandma, what this would have done to her if she'd known, what it already had. 20 minutes later, a second vehicle pulled up. This one was different, larger, with an empty cargo area and protected lining inside. They were there for the instruments, the evidence. 2 more officers got out. They spoke briefly to the first pair, then disappeared inside. A few minutes later, they started bringing the cases out. They moved carefully, like they knew what they were carrying, like someone had told them the value wasn't just in numbers. I didn't move, just watched. The violin, the cello, the mandolin, each one of them carried like it meant something. Then the front door opened again. My mom stepped out, scanning the yard. She looked right past me at first, then froze. Her eyes locked on mine, no words, no expression shift, just that cold, silent recognition. Then my dad stepped out behind her. They both stared. They didn't say a word. They didn't need to. I saw it in their eyes, what I'd done, what they thought I was now, betrayer, backstabber, stranger. I didn't break eye contact. I just let it sit. Eventually, one of the officers walked back over. Everything's been catalogued, he said. We're just finishing the report. I nodded. My bag's still inside, I said. I don't want to go in alone. Of course, he said, and walked with me. Inside, everything was quiet. The guest room hadn't changed. My bag was already packed. I grabbed it, didn't look around. My parents stood in the hallway, watching. Still nothing from them, not a word. I didn't look at them when I walked out. Didn't need to.